Welcome to the Rent to Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent to rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nicky Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello, hello, hello. It's Stephanie here. Welcome to episode 45 of Ask the Angels, where we answer your rent-to-rent questions. And if you'd like to have your question answered, go to renttoRentSuccess.com/ask and record your question there for me to answer here, just like Rianna did. Rianna asked an amazing question last week, and we've got another Rianna question for you this week. And I know you're going to love this one. So here's Rianna's question. Let me play it for you.
Stephanie, my name is Rianna. I have another rent-to-rent question for you. So if you happen to have a conversation with a landlord over the phone, or you go and actually visit their property and speak face-to-face with them, and then you're in the process of discussing how you would like to go forward with the deal, and then they ask you, do you have experience and how much? Now, obviously, I'm a brand new company altogether, and I'm absolutely brand new to rent-to-rent. I know a little bit of information, but I've never had a deal before. So how would I put across that I'm trustworthy and able to handle the property without having to explain that I actually have no experience to the landlord?
Oh my gosh, great question. And one that everybody wants to know the answer to at the beginning. It's that question in a different language, isn't it? It's a version of the second most popular question I get asked, which is, why would anybody give a property to me? And you think, why would they walk past a traditional high street letting agent and give a property to me who doesn't have any property or sometimes any business experience? And I hear you. It just seems ludicrous that that would happen. Yet it does happen. Every guest that we have on the podcast talking about their rent-to-rent business talks about getting their first rent-to-rent deal and how they got it before they had experience. People without prior experience with property and without huge pots of cash in the bank are making money from properties they don't own. And they're doing so in an ethical manner where the housemates and the landlords also love the service. So how are they doing it? The secret, in inverted commas, is that HMO landlords and letting agents have problems that you can solve. HMO landlords want their rent paid, their property looked after, and minimal risk in any transaction. That last one is something that people often forget. People want minimal risk in any transaction. And because of that, they really want to trust that you are going to do a good job. And I'll explain further on why all of this is in your favor. Now, letting agents are managing someone else's asset, so they're more risk averse than going direct to landlords. Letting agents want the same as what landlords want, except that the number one thing for letting agents is that they want their agent commission paid. That's what makes their business viable. And when you can show that you will pay the monthly commission, and you're going to manage the property, it's a win-win for the letting agent because they're getting paid and they're doing less work. Now, I've done other episodes where I talk about how it works between landlords and letting agents with the fees. So I'm not going to go into that here, right? You just pay your rent, and out of the rent, the agent takes their commission. But when you learn how to describe your solution effectively, you become an irresistible option to the perfect people who are looking for exactly what you offer. So we all tend to think that experience is the most important things that landlords and agents look for, but it isn't. And I'm going to come on to the specific things to say. But first, let's go over some basic principles. The first one is so important, and it's to sell yourself first. Before you try to sell anyone else on you and what you offer, you need to sell yourself on you. You need to know that your service is amazing, and any landlord who takes you up will get an amazing deal. When we say things like, I'm a brand new company, and I'm absolutely brand new to rent, and I know a little bit of information, but I've never had a deal before, and actually I have no experience. These sound like the truth. You're thinking, well, yeah, that's true. I have no experience. But you know what? These things are unlikely to serve you, because if you wouldn't give a property to you, it'll be difficult to persuade landlords or letting agents or anyone else. So you're probably thinking that I want you to be delusional. You are brand new to rent, so why wouldn't you choose to think that? That may be true. But what's also true is you will manage the property with care. You will learn what you need to do in order to become skilled in property management skills. And you already have skills that make you perfect for this task. You create your own future, and it all starts in your mind. It's no secret that professional athletes spend as much time on their mind game, and often more time on their mind game, as they do in their physical game. You need to work on your mind game too. We all need to work on our mind game. You have to believe in what you offer first. You have to believe in the value of your service. You have to believe that a landlord or letting agent will be crazy not to work with you. And that's hard at first, because your brain will keep telling you you're brand new, you have no experience. So one of the things we do in Kickstarter is to get you to think. Oh, excuse me, my doorbell's ringing. Hopefully someone else will get it, and I can carry on talking to you guys. So one of the things we do in Kickstarter is to get you to think about what you do have. Everyone has something. For you, it could be you're a nurse and you're renting out to medical colleagues. You may have a buy-to-let property already, so you've got some experience. You may have rented out a room in your own home as serviced accommodation, so you've got some before and after photos and some experience you can talk about. You may have managed property for family or friends. You may have a trade. Landlords love good tradespeople. Or you might be an IT project manager and be renting out to fellow contractors. Everyone has something. Sometimes it's simply that you bond because you both have families. Sometimes it's simply that they can trust in you because they can see the energy, the care. They can see how much you want to do a good job, and they want someone to do a good job as well, and they trust you. So before I move on to giving some examples, what I want to do is give some actual ways of answering questions that might come up. Now, some of the questions might be, how many properties do you have? And you can say, I'm just starting out and I'm totally focused on delivering an exceptional service to you. It's a safe bet for you because, unlike standard tenancies, you don't have to worry about managing bills or voids, because I pay the bills and pay rent irrespective of whether the property is tenanted. And if I don't pay you, you don't have to go through the standard eviction process. You can gain repossession within the contracted terms of our contract straight away. What that means is that if I don't meet my contract terms, that they can get their property back anyway. So that's a great answer for a landlord, because it says it exactly like it is. They've got you as one person totally focused on looking after their property. And I would love that as a landlord. And many landlords do go for it. You might be thinking, oh, I don't think they would go for it, but they do. So the other thing that I really say to people is, if you would, or if you can, we all know people now, or many of us know people who manage properties, you can offer to do some either voluntary or paid work, helping them out, friends or colleagues. And you might say, I've managed 3 properties on behalf of other landlords and I can provide references. That's something you could say. If you've got your own buy to lets, you can say you have. If they ask how long you've been in business, you can say the limited company has been in operation since X date, so it is a new company. I can also provide a personal guarantee. And you can repeat answers in from above that we've already talked about. The thing that we need to be able to convince them on is that we are minimal risk. And because you're offering something different, they may view you as a risk. I found that many landlords don't ask about your specific experience. But if they do ask, give your best answer, have confidence in yourself, and keep going until you meet a landlord who does want to work with you. The thing that helps us is that many HMO landlords have been badly let down by traditional high street letting agents who aren't HMO specialists. And that gives you a distinct advantage because while they are one amongst hundreds of properties for a typical letting agent, to begin with, you would be their only property. And that counts for a lot, knowing that you care and will do the right things. So you're probably saying, or you might be saying to yourself, you might be skeptical and say, oh, I don't believe that would really happen in truth. And so let me give you a few examples. There are many, many, many examples amongst the podcast guests that we've interviewed, but I've just picked out 2 to highlight for you. Because Maria Apaniran, remember Maria's episode? If you haven't listened to it, you should definitely go and listen, or in fact, watch it on the website and see Maria. Maria joined our Kickstarter mentorship and she didn't know whether it would work out for her because she's a married mum of 3 and an IT project manager. So she is a busy woman. And she got 2 properties at the start really quickly, both from the same landlord. And what she says in that interview is, the landlord just fell in love with me. What happened was they really clicked over their children, and the landlord felt that she could trust Maria after she'd had some bad experiences with letting agents. And the cherry on the cake was the landlord was moving abroad and was open to selling. So Maria got a lease option on that one too. A lease option is where you can buy a property, but without needing a mortgage or deposit up front. And we have another podcast episode, which is all about that. So to see Maria's story on the website, go to renttorentsuccess.com/Maria. And Brenda Akanju got her first property through a letting agent. She had no experience at the time. And after that, she was amazed when the letting agent started calling her with deals. And you can see Brenda tell her own story at renttorentsuccess.com/Brenda. And you know what they did, Brenda and Maria, is they weren't certain. They didn't know it all. They started, they put their best foot forward, and they kept going until they got the deal. Landlords and letting agents struggle to find long-term, consistent HMO property management. And so they are willing to take a chance on somebody who is going to do it with care. Our first landlord told us he didn't know whether we'd turn out well because we were so green, but he had a feeling that we were honest and he could see that we were keen to do well. So he decided to take a chance on us. And he only told us that years after we'd started. He was just saying to us, I'm so pleased, he said, that your business turned out well. He said, I didn't know if it would when we started because, as I say, he thought we seemed so green. And we were green. We were totally new to it. And as I say, experienced landlords have often had bad experiences with agents. So they are looking for a more bespoke service, a more personal service. They're really looking for someone they can trust. And that someone can be you. In summary, when you're new, you can still get deals exactly because you're who you are. And because you're not a letting agent. So I explained to you first how to show, I explained to you first what landlords and letting agents want, because it's important to demonstrate that when you speak with them. I then also suggested some answers to some popular questions. And I talked about the most important thing, which is to sell yourself first. So change your thinking to create that future that you want for yourself. Question any negative thoughts that your brain offers you, because your brain is very good. All of our human brains are very good at offering us negative thoughts and predicting the end of the world. So we do need to consciously think the positive thoughts that are going to create the future that we want, that are not going to have us hiding in the cave. I gave you a couple of examples too of people who've done it. And, we have many more on the podcast, and we've got many more coming up this year. I want to ask you this question. Other people are doing it. Why not you? Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. So if you haven't started yet, the beginning of the year is a great time to start. So much of success is just staying on track and doing the things that move you forward to fulfill your goals. It isn't the big leaps every once in a while that make the difference. It's the consistent action that you take regularly that will change your life in a big way. So commit to doing the things, even if you feel uncomfortable. Just do it, even on the days where you don't really feel like it. Create the future you want. The future is coming anyway. Why not make it even better than your current life? So, if you would like the 6-step rent-to-rent success system, get our free masterclass and guide at rent2rentsuccess.com/guide. And if you're in the Rent-to-Rent Kickstarter program with us, you'll have lots that will help with what we've been talking about today. We've got M4.7 magnetic marketing for letting agents, how letting agents work, and the magic words letting agents want to hear. M4.8, how to build likability and trust quickly. M4.9, what to say to letting agents, and of course, the letting agent scripts. So thank you so much, Rianna, for asking your questions this week and last week. They were brilliant questions, so well put together, and I really enjoyed answering them. So that was a good one. That's all for now, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on rent to rent. You can find it at rent2rentsuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book, and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rent2rentsuccess.com/book. And I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.